Okay, today we are going to manufacture some grit. Now, when you're not super talented, you have to come up with ways to make your work look unique and stand out and have a different take on stuff. So, it's you got to use your wits a little bit. And so here's what I've done in this story. I am drawing the facsimile of inward dilapidation inside a kind of a crack house deal, or drug house, or whatever you want to say. So what I have here is a couple hallmarks of the deal. So of course we have a broken lamp, some kind of blanket rug on the floor. That was originally supposed to look like a blanket over the window, but it kind of come out better than my accidental thing. Like, oh, it's just a really crappy window, and you have a couple. There's something to me when you just have stuff leaning against the wall, and it's not hung up that seems kind of dilapidated. Um, so I'll get into several aspects of what's going on here. So this is the final picture. I'm going to shrink it down and fit it onto the page, but first we kind of got to doctor it up a little bit. Now, one of my favorite things to do, and I'll zoom in here so I don't have to keep holding up the deal. So one of my favorite things to do, come on, focus, Crocus, there we go, is to do just little slick indicators. So of course I haven't done the shadowing right, but that's okay. So we have the light spot here, dark, all that stuff, but then we have shadow going behind it. What I do like, I like to do stuff a little bit like this. This is the shape of that in the back room, and so what it illuminates is the faucet by the sink. So it's again those little things where, it in the hands of somebody more talented thinking about that, they probably would have done a better job with it. But that's what I am, man. I am where I'm at, and it makes me happy. So here's what we're starting out with, and also a couple fun things. Um, this I gosh dang it. Of course I don't have it, and I'll just have to pick it up and zoom it into the camera again. I'm a real fan of some of the not quite the modern art stuff, but I do like a lot of like the Dada stuff, the collage art, and some of just a different way of looking at stuff. And so this is a very so I put it in one of these paintings that's on the wall. This is a very Dada thing. So that they're written backwards, and egg is flying out of this guy's head, and also he's wearing a bow tie. There's something that kind of makes me happy about that. Also, even though it's a really really crappy stick drawn version of it, that's a girl, the girl with the pearl earring. Might have been a Renaissance or a Dutch Renaissance, late Renaissance deal. So a lot of fun here. I love putting those little things in there. So it's these nice things laying on the floor, and of course you can't have a crappy house. Oh, of course you can't have a crappy house with a little bit of plaster and lath showing through one of the windows. Now, that's our drawing to start with, but what are the tools we're going to use to get there? Okay, so in case I haven't said it before, one of the original things I was going to call the channel was Clever Not Talented, but that doesn't make that doesn't make the best acronym. I'll let you spell it out. So first thing we're going to do here is, alright, so first thing we're going to do is take a stainless steel Brillo pad and scratch up some transparency here that I was trying to do some slicky slicks with some lettering and some zipatone over the top of this, but we're going to scrub this all off and get it roughed up real nice. Now you're going to make a little bit of a mess here, so oh, underneath there. What I kind of like to do, I like to do this in the sink actually, because there's something with the water when it plays against it that seems to rough it up more or give a little bit more even styration to what you're doing. So, and on these transparencies, you kind of have two sides, of course, but one's the slick side and one is the print side. And if you see this line here, there's a little bit of a line. There's this plastic strip that goes across it, so when you're doing the original run, or if you go to a print shop and ask for transparencies, Um, as for transparencies, you can they'll print it, and they'll do one specific side, one side down to the printer, and I think your printer grabs one side a little bit better. Okay, so we got all that other stuff off there. Now, if you use transparencies in some of your work, it's not a bad idea to use too much and then go back, because some of these finer things you kind of can't see it super great. You can just kind of tell some gritty things here. The nice thing about leaving the old stuff on is it gives a little bit more dimension to texture. And we'll rough up the other side, just big circles. Big circles. Okay, and yeah, because I'm not gonna rough this up as much as I normally would. Also, I just remember this. Also, when you're roughing it up in the sink, you can kind of clean it better, because you notice there's kind of grit on everything. But just big circles, big circles. Now, with what we're going to do, I think we're adding enough texture to it already that we don't have to worry about getting on there. Big circle, big circle, big circle. Sometimes I'll do this. I got a little bit of bare cement floor in my utility room. Sometimes I'll do it on there to really get the nice old grit going. Now, if you do that, you got to be careful, because you'll put some holes in it. Oh boy. Big mess, which is okay. Okay. So, what do we see here? We got... I'll go over it one more time. Boop, 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 boop. What'd you do today? Oh, watch a guy scratch some paper. Sounds interesting. I know, I thought it was great too. Okay, that should be enough, at least for our intent and purposes. Okay, so we will take our image here, and I was kind of pre-fitting it on the paper I wanted to do it on, but I might dink it down just a touch. Alright, so like that. What did our copy look like? So, reduce option. Alright, got it in the printer right now. So I kind of always do a test one before I put the good copy in there, because transparencies are kind of expensive. Alright, now the part of shrinking it down is you worry about shrinking it down too much, because if you shrink it down too much, you kind of can't tell what you're looking at. So here, I might doctor it up a little bit, so I might give us some borders here. Let's do that. Alright, let's get our straight edge. Now, what I like to do sometimes, non-linear panels and all that stuff, you're telling a story from the perspective of a drunk guy. So I don't know, your lettering shouldn't be perfect. All your layouts shouldn't be perfect. You should have a little bit of incongruousness, and also the idea that nothing is completely square. Like, there aren't hard right angles everywhere. You want to have them off just a little bit, which because how tight am I gonna get that to there? Okay, sometimes you whisper because you don't just got these lines how you want them. Boop, 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 boop. And the nice thing is, if you give yourself a little bit of room there when you make your final crops, you can make adjustments. So always leave yourself a little bit of wiggle room with your lines, so that if you need to chop something on the other side and make a line, or have a panel with without any borders on it. That's okay too. This is art. There are no rules. Okay, so again, get it pretty tight on this side. Okay. All right, men from the boys right here. Right, yeah. Okay. Gonna take this, and do I need to erase a straight pencil line? Oh, and also, yeah, get a little bit of this. Yeah, dirty that panel up a little bit more. All right, here we go. Good. Looking a little bit rougher, less clean. Let's put it back on the printer. All right. All right, it's go time, me droogs. What do we got? Put it in the printer here. All right, let's see if it grabs it on the first try, because that seems to be pretty slick. Copy. Custom. 45. Okay. Alright, just about ready for our next ones. Okay, I'll take that. I'll take that. Yeah. Okay. So here's always the challenge with what we're messing with. Okay. So this is, alright, this is kind of the conundrum. So there's one, the side that it printed on, and then the back side. So probably, yeah, if I was more slick, I would have put it upside down. That's okay. So, okay, so part of what you got going on right here, so the ink is on this side of the deal. Now, that's nice in a certain sense because you can feel a little bit more of the grit, you get a little bit more of it, but it is, so to see this part sticking up here, it's really easy to scratch that down through just people brushing up against it, or you know, all that stuff. So if you're gonna, it's what they call not very archival. Okay, so we got our thing laid out here, so let's do the magic of someone who's figuring it out and not super talented. All right, so here's what I figured out to give us a little bit of texture. First, just take some strips of, yeah, let's get that a little bit longer, some masking tape. All right, make sure you cover pretty close to the end to end. We're just gonna lay a bunch of lines in here. Now you wouldn't think that this would do anything amazing, but give me a minute and you'll see that it will. Okay, so boop, boop, boop. Keep throwing those tape lines down. Alright, throw a handful more. I'll go over it twice. Twice. So I in messing with this, you find almost like a wood floor, you could have one over here and then one over here, so you see it doesn't reach all the way to the end, but I find sometimes you get too much texture in there with that, so just try to make a little bit longer pieces. Okay, so we're getting pretty close to where the magic happens. Alright, lay one more down. Oops. Okay. So, getting a little bit of character into that. A little bit of opacity, opaqueness. Let's flip it over and do some more magic. Alright. Black electrical tape. So I should have pre-done some of this, but it was just kind of on a whim, so here we are, bros. Alright. Because I did the original, I'm kind of cleaning up some panels on one of the stories I'm finishing up. And so, oh boy. Alright, here we go. Gotta love that dead air. Okay, here we go. Okay, I'll tell a story. So I used to work for a radio station at the tiny school that I went to for undergrad, and I would help a guy out in the morning shift, and I'd help him do promotions and shows. And we got this new automated system, which mostly worked. And every once in a while, but we were still kind of getting the hang of it. And every once in a while, we'd make a mistake, and it wouldn't be playing when we thought it should be auto playing, and there would be dead air on the radio, which is no bueno, especially during your morning drive time. And so we would say, SpongeBob, when he's trying to convince himself how it's okay to breathe air, he says, "Gotta love that air," and we would say, "Gotta love that dead air." So, which is what I was doing when I was trying to peel this back. Okay, black tape, stretch a little bit. Oh, probably stretched too much. Whoop. It's a bit, like I said, it's been a while since I've done my second round, so we'll make some lines here. Another line. Yep, ripping black tape is kind of an art form if you're not cutting it, which is kind of what I was doing, but that's okay. And I don't have to be very fastidious with this because most of the project for that is done. Although on this one I will cut it. And I think I didn't... It might be easier just to lay down and instead of pulling the strips, because if you stretch too much, you see it kind of pulling back a little bit, which, I mean, for our purpose, it'll be alright, and it'll flatten out the more it is. Anyways, so... Okay. So there we go. We got our crappy looking place there. Now, I'm really kind of curious, and also, wouldn't hurt probably to roll it out a little bit. Without destroying it too much. So, and of course, this may not translate too good. That's okay. It's all kind of a learning experience. I'm not sure how I feel about it. I think that'll be pretty good for what I want to convey. And also, one of the things I like to do in my work is when you pick up something, I don't want you to see the thing right away. I want you to just kind of look at it a little bit. Like, man, what am I looking at? Because who wants to just get a comic right away and then have it figured out? Why don't we just kind of wrestle with it a little bit? Like, man, what am I looking at? And you're going to be rewarded with what I think a crack house looks like. Or inner dilapidation. There we go. That's a kinder word for that. I might have put too many lines in it. Gosh, I don't mind that. I don't hate it. I might will reward myself by drawing it 5 or 6 more times before I make up my mind. So, and the thing that I think might not be working too great here is that I've drawn everything, I've shrunk everything down so much that it's kind of hard to tell what it is, that's okay. So, everybody likes seeing the back of my head. Here we go. Zoom way in on it. Yep, and it's kind of hard to tell what it is. That's okay. But anyway, there you have it. There's my attempt on the thing. So here we go. Boop. Okay, so part 2. I figured it out, what I want to do. So it'll be one of those deals where it'll be nice contrast to the other panels. The other panels are done like this, but it's a little bit more legible because everything's a little bit bigger. I'll give you a quick shot. So that's the idea what I'm going for, but since I've drawn so small here, you kind of lose it in that. But on the other side of the page, and I won't give it away, there's a big, more opaque thing like this, so it'll be a nice balance. And also, that's something else I go for in these, is a balance of text, you know, like of course I'm going for texture, I'm going for color, I'm going for light and dark, and that should help mix that up nicely. But anyway, figured it out. Boop.